It is the purpose of the following video to provide a foundation for our understanding of relations and functions. This video will introduce some terms and go over their definitions and look at how they apply to relations and functions. So the first term we need to understand is, what is a function? Well, for an equation to be a function, that means for every x value, there is exactly one y value. And if you think about what that means when you're graphing, for every x value, there is only one value attached to it. And we're going to look at what that means on the graph. So for every x, there's exactly one y. The domain of a function is all of the x values. You describe all the x values, how it relates to the graph, and the range represents all the y values of the function. One way of remembering that domain represents the x values and that range represents the y values is that alphabetically domain comes before range. Alphabetically x comes before y. So the domain describes the x values of the function and the y values of the function are described by the range. Now if we go back up to this idea that there is exactly one y value paired up with every x for a function, we learned there's something called a vertical line test. If you draw a vertical line anywhere through the relation through a graph through a function, and if it intersects the graph once, it's a function. Because if it intersects the graph once, that means there is exactly one y value for that x. But if it intersects more than once, then it is not a function. Because if you're to draw a vertical line and intersects at 2 points, that means there are two y values attached to that one x, which cannot happen for a function. So we're going to look at how to apply the vertical line test to determine if a relation is a function, and we're going to look at how to state the domain and range of a function, how to state the domain, the x values, and the range, the y values. So understand these definitions before you continue on in the lesson.